Chances are, if you were competitively racing RC cars in the mid-90s to early 2000s, you may have heard this sound. The Fantom Racing Facts Machine Brushed Motor Dyno. Just what is this thing, and why was it such an essential tool for motor builders back in the day? Let's find out. Now, I definitely can't tell you I know how this thing works. I know it involves a balanced flywheel and some sort of internal Hall effect sensor, the processing units to read that data, and software that runs the machine and presents the data to you. For me, the biggest challenge to keep this old dyno working is the old hardware I have to keep around to support it. I'm using an old Windows XP tower with a serial port that runs some software on Windows XP. To operate the dyno, you actually need two separate power supplies. There's an included 14-volt unit that runs all the internal components, and you need an external 12-volt source to actually drive the motor. Now, you can use anything from an old car battery to a high-amperage power supply unit. Here you can see all your hookup cables. The two alligator clips go to your motor, the other red and black wire are for your external 12-volt power supply, and that gray wire is your serial port for the back of your PC. So now we're going to go right to the hobby room, fire this thing up, and show you what it can do. Hang tight. Okay, friends, so first off, I'm sorry about all the noise. I have a very old Windows XP tower running. Let's have some fun and plug that into the internet. Let's not. So, you need this, or at least this is the only way I can get this old dyno to work. So we're crammed up here in the old hobby room. Quite the mess. But we're going to see if we get this old dyno fired up. So let's get the cameras mounted and have it a go. Okay guys, we're going to start off with a little 540 Mabuchi silver can motor. Just your typical Tamiya motor. Let's see what kind of numbers it can put out. Turn it on. Hit number 1. There you go. Now as you see down the bottom, it shows you the max power at what RPM, max RPM and how long it took to get there, the max torque, the max efficiency percentage, and what RPM it reached that percentage at. All the way over to the right, you have a simple, basically power numbers. Low power, mid-range, and high range, which I'm sure you could tune for to the track in the buggy or on-road car you were running. Pretty cool. So the next thing I want to do is install a modified motor just to show you the difference between a bone stock silver can and something with some pep to it. So let's change things out and have at it. Stand by. Real quick, guys, I forgot to show you the graphs that this thing can do. Let's take a look. This is still with our silver can. Take a screenshot here. You have power and efficiency and amps. Nice little graph. And amps and RPM versus time. Pretty handy, pretty cool. You can also print these out. I don't have a printer hooked up to this old computer. I'm not going to bother, but I thought that was a pretty neat thing to have. So let's install this mod motor and see what happens. Okay, friends, we got the D2 Dirtinator. I believe, yes it is, it's a 10 quad. So that should move pretty good. I don't recall if I've ever run anything this powerful in this dyno. So let's see what happens. And we're ready to run this motor. Whoa. Wow. Well, that was a little bit scary. It was awful loud. As you can see down the bottom, there is quite the difference between a mod motor and an old silver can Mabuchi motor. Look at those numbers down below. Let's take a screenshot. And the numbers to the right, the power factors. And again, let's have a look at those graphs. Wow. Pretty big difference there. So that's pretty cool. What I would like to do finally, though, is turn the timing up on this mod motor and see if it makes any difference on the power output. Stand by. Okay, we have our timing turned up on this mod motor. Locked in pretty good. Let's run it and see if it made a difference. Ooh. Wow. Well, if I wasn't scared before, I am now. That was crazy. Did make quite the difference on power output. Let's have a look at those numbers. Take a screenshot, and let's check out the graphs. There you go. So there you have it, guys. I would assume as a motor builder for brushed motors back in the 90s, early 2000s, this was a fairly essential tool to have. I do remember these things whizzing up in the pits during a big race. And never had one back then, but I think it's pretty cool to have one now. So there you go, guys. This thing's pretty neat. And while we're going to take a much deeper dig into what we can do with this dyno later on, for now I just wanted to showcase it for you all. Be sure to comment down below, especially if you have some experience with this dyno. Maybe you can give us some ideas on what we can try with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please hit that subscribe button and be sure to ring that bell so you're up to date on our latest videos. Everyone rock on, and I'll talk to you soon.